This is Andy Purewal for Boxing Social in association with Betfred, and I'm joined by Archie Sharp over Zoom. Archie, how are you doing?
Yeah, very well, thank you, mate. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. It's good to catch up first time this year. Obviously, back in the gym now. How are you finding things back in for what I expect will be a big year for yourself?
Yeah, so back in the gym, getting myself in some good shape. Just looking forward to getting back out, really.
We haven't had an announcement as to kind of your next bout. Have you got anything lined up yet, Archie?
Well, I was due to fight on the Frampton and Herring undercard, but unfortunately, I picked up a little injury. Just so it couldn't have come at a better time, eh? So I had Corona, and now this coronavirus has been here. It's been hard enough not getting fights, and then all of a sudden, I'm in camp, absolutely flying, having some great sparring, and I picked up a little injury, which means I won't be out on the February show, but maybe probably be out in March now.
How frustrating a kind of a period have you found this, Archie? There's a lot of excitement around you. You've spoken openly about your ambitions to hit the world title scene within your coming fights, and you had COVID, which has come and disrupted your career. You've had a couple of injuries. You mentioned one now, which has stopped you from getting out on the Frampton bill. How frustrating have you found it all?
Very frustrating, and to be honest with you, it's easy enough to let it get to you. Do you know what I mean? I've just got to stay positive and mentally strong. I think that's the biggest thing at the minute because, as you know yourself, with this coronavirus, it's affected a lot of people mentally, and obviously, like I say, it's been hard. It's been hard out there, and then, like you say, pick up an injury. It's been very frustrating, but it's done now. The injury's happened. I'm on the recovery now, so I can't moan. Do you know what I mean? It's just it is what it is. Unfortunately, things happen for a reason, and whether it's now or 6 months later down the line, I'll see what that reason is. One door closes and another one opens. That's how I've got to look at it, really. But I'll be back. I'll be back this year, very soon. Like I said, I'm in the gym. I'm training. I've just come back from the gym tonight, so I'll be back.
Well, it's good to hear you obviously back in the gym now, Archie. Just looking towards the coming months ahead. What do you think is in store for yourself then before this injury had come and kind of derailed your plans to fight on the Frampton bill? Who and what type of opposition was you looking to face?
So obviously, it's like I say, with having the injury, it is a bit frustrating. But I haven't missed out too much. I know I was due to fight on the Frampton and Herring undercard. I'll still be attending the show, hopefully do some commentary or something, because I still want them fights to happen this year for sure. So I'll still be there. I'll still be in the mix. But as soon as I'm back, I want a huge fight. I don't want no warm ups or little stepping stone fights. I want a big fight. It's interesting because Zelfa Barrett's now fighting Kiko Martinez, and that's a fight that I wanted myself. Was a Kiko
Eco,
Martinez.
the Martinez or Barrett?
Barrett. I wanted the Kiko Martinez. Zelfa Barrett's fighting Kiko Martinez, and Kiko Martinez is the fight that I wanted myself. Because of, like I say, he's been at a very great level. He's a great fighter, great fighter, and I think that's a great stepping stone to fight Kiko, then to move on to the world title shot. But because of the injury and because of a little setback, even if I've got to jump straight in for a world title shot, do you know what? I'm not even phased, mate. I've been out. I'm in the gym. I'm training hard. Um, and yeah, I look forward to a huge fight as soon as I'm back, as soon as I'm allowed to get in the ring. Which, like I say, hopefully March, early April, I'm back.
Everybody's, everybody knows that you're very highly ranked with the WBO, Archie. You've mentioned it yourself. You'd love to face the winner of Frampton Herring. What's your understanding of that entire situation? Because Shakur Stevenson certainly seems to be in the frame, having moved up from feather and the WBO ruling. If you're a champion weight below, you move up, then you're entitled to fight for that title.
That's what I mean. So there are things happening out there. Shakur has obviously got his eye on the world title, and I have myself. And like you say, WBO coming up, he's entitled to have that shot first. And if he does, he does. But either way, that even if I've got fight Shakur or someone like that, it's not a problem. But these are the fights that I want. I'm not here to duck and dive any fighters. If Shakur's got the belt and I've got the opportunity to fight Shakur Stevenson, then obviously that's a fight that I'll step up and take.
What do you make of Shakur Stevenson, obviously moving up from
Right.
feather?
I think he's a great fighter. I think he looks like I haven't seen him in person, but he looks like quite a big he was a big featherweight anyway. So I think him coming up into super featherweight, he's quite a big super featherweight. Obviously like myself, I'm a big super featherweight. And they're the fights that I want. I'm excited to fight these fighters. A lot of people you see in this boxing game, they want to avoid and duck fights. Shakur Stevenson's a great name, a great fighter right there, and I want to fight them fighters.
I mean, there's so many brilliant fighters, and the divisions between super feather and up to probably lightweight. No, sorry, super lightweight. There's all the talk about people who could move up or down for the fights. Is this what maybe becomes particularly frustrating for yourself because you want to try to establish yourself as one of the names who is spoken more in that kind of category?
Yeah, 100%. But in all fairness, I need to. I've boxed some good opponents. Don't get me wrong, but I need to establish myself by fighting these fighters. So people can write me off and they can say, "Oh, Archie's not ready to step up. He ain't good enough." They can say what they want, but until I step up and prove people wrong, there's going to be a lot of doubters. And I've been in the game since the age of 7, and people have doubted me from day one. So it's not nothing new to me. They can doubt me, and look at my amateur pedigree; it speaks for itself. I boxed unbelievable opponents and beat more or less everyone out there. Do you know what I mean? So that doesn't bother me. It doesn't phase me. And they're the facts I keep saying that I want. And to establish and to be the best fighter, you've got to box these opponents, and that's just how it is. And then what an exciting division like the Tank, Ryan Garcia. They're great fights. Of course, I want to be in with these fighters. Do you know what I mean? This is what it's about. I'm not here to be second best in the boxing game.
Just to kind of go backwards, because we haven't had a chance to speak, Archie, since your win over Jeff Fafori, just reflect on your victory in that fight.
Look, no disrespect for Jeff Ofori. It was terrible. It was a very bad performance for myself. But this is my point. I started getting a bit stale because I'm chasing these big fights and I wasn't getting them. So I just trying to turn up, just getting on with it. But since the Jeff Ofori, I've made a big decision. I made a life-changing decision, really. I've been with Richard since the age of 7 years old. And then I moved over to Alan Smith at the iBox gym. So, and then just doing everything properly. My food, my weight. I wasn't really making weight properly since the first time I ever made weight properly was against Leon Woodstock. And since then, I've kind of just not been as dedicated to making the weight as I should be. So now I'm doing everything properly. I'm on the meal preps all early doors. I know my body now a lot better. So I'm getting bigger, but still making a super featherweight very easy. So things have changed. There's been a huge change since the Jeff Ofori fight, and it was just time to make that decision, and I have. I've made some life decisions to dedicate 100% to boxing.
Talk to him about working with Alan, because he works and he's worked with a number of very good prospects over the years, especially recently. You know, you got the likes of Dennis McCann, Lerone Richards before he left, some brilliant names that he's worked with. How have you found working with him?
Yeah, Al's got so much knowledge in the sport. It's unbelievable. Like he's been working alongside Jimmy Tibbs as well for so many years, and was a great trainer on its own. So he's learned a lot. There's so many great trainers out there that Al's been alongside, and he's a great trainer himself. He's just not on the social media, and he's just an old school trainer who knows his stuff. And the knowledge that I've learned of him in this space of time with him is phenomenal, and the changes that he's seen in me is phenomenal. I've been sparring like welterweight. Do you know what I mean? Harlem Eubank, sorry, who's a good fighter. He's a big boy. I've been sparring them. Ryland Charlton, these big boys I've been mixing with, and I'm only a super featherweight fighter, so I'm definitely learning a lot. And there's a reason why Al's been getting me this sparring. So so yeah, I've learned a lot, and that's why I'm just a little bit frustrated with the injury on its own. But I'm just so excited to get out and show people that I say the new me, it's always been there, but I just haven't shown it to anyone. But now under the new training camp with Eddie Lamb as well, like the things that I've been doing is phenomenal.
Archie, whilst I got you, just want to touch on a few fights. And you mentioned you aspiring Ryland Charlton. He's getting ready to face Florian Marku next week. Just what are your thoughts on that fight? It's one which a lot of people kind of are very excited for.
Yeah, I think that's a great fight. I've seen Ryland Charlton when I used to spar down at the with like Joe Cordina and Martin Ward. Ryland Charlton was always down there sparring the likes of Conor Ben and the boys there. So I've seen him before this obviously fight was mentioned. I've known Ryland for a little while. Then he's been down at ours sparring the boys down at our gym. Pierce O'Leary, Elliot Well, obviously myself, Sam Noakes. So he's been getting a lot of rounds down with us. And he's a great kid. He's a good kid, very strong, especially for me, being a couple of weights above me. He's a strong lad. But you know what? He's a fit kid. And I believe it's going to be a great. It's got everything on it to be a great fight. Do you know what I mean? He's a strong, he's fit, he comes forward, and he wants to have a punch up, and so does Florida Marco. So I think that's a great dust up, and I'm excited to watch it.
And another fight just on that card I want to touch on just because it's intrigued many people and it's taken ages to get on. Kelly Avanesian, just your thoughts again, Archie.
So again, sorry.
Josh Kelly versus David Avanesian.
Yeah, Josh Kelly. I see him the other day actually when I was sparring down with Harlem. He's known Josh for a long time. He's a great kid, very good kid. And when I see him down the gym, it's the same with him really. He wants these big fights. He's quite similar to myself, and you can get flat and when you're not really up for the fights that you want. And but this one here, he's hungry for us. The best shape I've seen him. And he looks very, very well. And I think he's going to put on a masterclass. To be honest with you, I think you're going to see the best Josh Kelly for sure.
And then just moving back down to your weights and in and around it, you mentioned the Barrett Martinez fight happens this weekend on Saturday night. Just your thoughts?
Yeah, I'll be watching that. I'm excited to see that. Looking forward to watching that. I think Barrett's got the beating of him. If Barrett's because he's a slick boxer himself, if he sticks to his boxing, he'll beat Kiko Martinez. But it's a great stepping stone as well. So it'd be interesting. I have got Barrett to win that.
For a number of years, Archie, yourself and Zelfa were always mentioned as two which could eventually face. It seemed to be easier when you were both obviously under the same promotional banner. In Zelfa's Zoom calls this week, he said that he doesn't really see you two meeting at the minute because you're going down your own paths. Do you think it's a fight which could happen soon, or do you think it is something which might take maybe a little while longer till it kind of gets there?
I think that's a fair comment from Zelfa, to be honest with you. He's on his path. He's obviously got plans with Eddie now that fighting Kiko Martinez. They've obviously got a plan. Myself and MTK and Frank have got a plan, and Alan. So we're going to be sticking to our plan. And at the end of the day, we're both young. I'm only 25. I think Zelfa's a couple of years older. So if he's still winning, and obviously I'm still winning, then the fight's going to happen for sure. It'll just be a lot more at stake. Because by the time I pick my world titles up, and if he picks up something on the way, it's just going to be a bigger fight. It could be a Groves and Frost or something like that, or DeGale, or whatever. Do you know what I mean? It could be a great fight.
Another fight I want to touch on, the one which you was meant to be on the undercard of, Frampton Herring. As he gets ever closer, Archie, how do you expect it to play out?
Now it's getting closer. I've always backed Herring to beat Carl Frampton. I have always backed him, but you know, now it's getting closer. I'm starting to have a little 50-50 on it because, as we know, Frampton, this is our sort of opportunity to put on a show. But have we seen the best of Jamel? Do you know what I mean? Have we seen the best? Has he had the best fights? They're gone. That's my point. Beating Ito and then obviously what's his Lamont Roach Jr. Sorry. Let's get comfortable again. Yeah, so it's a good fight. It's a great matchup. And either one of them fights, Jamel's not going to come over wanting to give his belt up. So he's going to be leaving it all in the ring. And Frampton isn't going to want to leave the ring until he's put it all on the line. So great match. Looking forward to it. I'm going to stick with my guns and I'm going to back Herring for that fight.
Another fight on my undercard of that, I'm sure you'll be keeping a close eye on, Leon Woodstock versus Anthony Kakache for the British title. Your thoughts, Archie? Obviously, Leon, a former opponent of yours.
Yeah, I think Kakachi's got the beating of Leon. I think he's got the beating of Leon, to be fair. But it could be a good matchup, really. I think it's a good matchup because Leon's going to come and give it his all. He's not going to leave anything. It's one of them. This is his last opportunity. This is his last kind of big fight now, I think. I think that's fair to say. Obviously, losing to myself, then losing to Barrett. Now he's got a chance at a British title against Kakachi. I think he knows himself that he's going to have to put everything in. And yeah, we'll just see, because becoming a champion is hard, but remaining to be a champion is the hardest thing.
Archie, we will leave that there now. I'll leave you to enjoy the rest of your evening. But ahead of your return in 2021, when that comes, what would you like to say to everybody who will continue to follow your journey this year?
Yeah, I just hope everyone, like you say, stays tuned, and big things are happening, big things on the horizon, and they are happening this year. 2021 is going to be a great year for myself. So just stay tuned, and I'll be in the mix with some huge fights for sure.
Archie, it's a pleasure to catch up with you as always. I'll keep in touch and speak to you again soon. Thank you for your time and thank you for speaking to Boxing Social.
Now, thank you for having me on. I appreciate that. Thank you.